But we've gone through next week's fixtures. What about the players? I mean, it's all well and good talking about the teams, but I need to tell you about the players. Well, we're doing things a bit different this season. We're going through everything to do with the fixtures, then the players, and I'm picking a few out that I really fancy, that I think you guys should definitely get on. And I think I fancy them more than other players, let's put it that way. We are going to kick things off though with the goalkeepers. We've got 4 of them, as always, and it will be hopefully like that throughout the rest of the season. Foster, Edison, Forster and Elliott. Foster comes in from West Brom 4.5. Really good looking goalkeeper. If you're looking to early wildcard, very good pick. And for me, that's all we've got to say about him. Edison comes in at 5.5. Really low ownership. City, though, having quite a good looking start to the season. You're thinking, got a good few wins last season under Pep Guardiola. Looking to do that again this season. And I feel like they could do. And a few clean sheets in there as well, to put it that way. Force then comes in at £5 million. Southampton, again, a really good start. Looks good. Again, the clean sheets in pre-season. One for me to say, you know what, maybe worth looking at for the defence-wise. And then Rob Elliott, £4 million. Got a chance of starting game week 1. So he's also in there as well. Onto the defence though, we have 6 defenders. We're looking at Ryan Bertrand of Southampton, Danilo of Man City, you've got Lascelles of Newcastle, Azpilicueta of Chelsea, Ben Davies of Tottenham, and Matteo Darmian of Manchester United. Coming in first with Mr. Ryan Bertrand, £5.5 million for the Southampton defender. Yes, you could go with Stevens or Yoshida or Cedric for £5 million, but the extra 0.5 gets you more attacking returns and a better player overall, I believe, in the Southampton defence. Now, he could really be one to watch this season at £5.5 million. If they do start the season well, get him in your teams from the start, or at least Saints coverage from the start, their price will rise. Then when the tough fixtures come in, you can get rid of them. Watch their price go back down. Do it again for the second part of the season and just reap the rewards for both times this season. He looks really good and should be in, at least coverage for game week 1 from the start. You're looking at Danilo as well with the left back injured that they signed, Mendy. He could be looking to fill in there in one of the wing back slots. And as a risk, yes, he might not play. I feel like he could play for the first few game weeks at least. £5.5 million gets you into the City defence with a chance of attacking potential as well. It's really not worth missing that opportunity. And you've also got Jamel Lascelles at £4.5 million. Newcastle coverage, barring game week 1. Yes, I'm saying getting there for game week 1 could get some bonus points if it's just a ball draw. Let's say they do really well in the defence. He could be one to chuck himself in front of it. He's a leader overall, so could be getting that potential for extra points there. But in general, after that, looks really good. Definitely worth putting into teams. You also got Azpilicueta of Chelsea. £6.5 million gets you a centre-back. They've got really good attacking returns last season. I think a goal and 5 assists is what he got last season. And Moses is suspended for the first game week of the season, which means Azpilicueta, undoubtedly, hopefully, we pushed out wide into right-back. And where he's a natural position, actually, when he signed for Chelsea, he was a right-back. Moved to left-back and now centre-back. I don't think he's even played many games in right-back since he's got to Chelsea. But could be a really good pick. £6.5 million is steep, but he's a really good player. Also got Davies at 5.5. Trippier looks to be injured, so all coverage now over to Ben Davies at 5.5, and Darmian at 5.5 as well. Man United don't really have a left back with Yoho and Luke Shaw injured. Darmian looks as if he's going to be filling that slot, and £5.5 million could be a really good bet for that left back position. In the midfield, we start off with the big money Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City. We've got Zaha of Palace, Mkhitaryan of Man United, Eriksen of Tottenham, Pedro of Chelsea, and Tadic of Southampton. Starting off Kevin De Bruyne of Man City though, £10 million. And yes, that's a big fee for a player. He gets you 6 goals and 21 assists from last season, 199 points, only set to improve this season, and with even more attackers brought into the team, a fit Gabriel Jesus and Aguero to feed off of. You've also got Bernardo Silva there as well. So many options. He's one of the only set-in-stone players to start along with Jesus for me in the attacking line. So Kevin De Bruyne could be a really good pick for the season, especially in game week 1, that 5-0 coming up against Brighton. We've also got Zaha at £7 million. The Crystal Palace man, like I said in the pre-season bit, has been breaking legs for fun, and he could really be continuing that this season. Mkhitaryan comes in at £8 million. Another one that's had a good pre-season and could really start well against Manchester United, against West Ham. Got there in the end. Eriksen of Tottenham, looking like he's my favourable option against Ali. I've actually selected him in my team over Ali now, and I feel like at 9.5 could be really good for the first game of the season. Pedro comes in at £8 million. Many people may be thinking, after his red card in the Community Shield, he is suspended. He is not. It's a standalone thing, so he's not suspended for the Premier League season. So he is still starting. Many people might be transferring out thinking, oh no, suspended now. Many people not knowing the rules. So hopefully that happens, and fingers crossed he has a good return in Game Week 1 against Burnley, and you all can be laughing when he's a differential. And lastly, Dusan Tadic. £6.5 million. Saints look really good. Going forward, he could be the one, to really pivot the attack around, and Tadic, I feel like could be good money this season. And lastly, we have the attackers. We've got Gabriel Jesus of Man City, Lukaku of Man United, Batshuayi of Chelsea, Benteke of Palace, and Firmino of Liverpool. Starting off with Jesus of Manchester City, £10.5 million, 7 goals and 4 assists last season in 10 games. Do the maths. 30 games gets you 21 goals, 12 assists. Now I'm doing the maths here, and I'm seeing goals and assists together, at least 1 per game. If that continues this season, he is going to fly across any goal scoring boundaries. Think double game weeks where he's playing. Need I say more? Lukaku comes in from Manchester United at £11.5 million. He's had a decent showing in pre-season, and the beast could be set to run through a rather old-looking defence, only helped in their oldness by Zabaleta at Old Trafford on Sunday. Batshuayi of Chelsea, Morata isn't ready according to Conte, which means Batshuayi could start the first game week against a Burnley side away from home that weren't good last season. Could be set, pardon me, to get a couple of goals at the start of this game week. You also got Benteke of Crystal Palace at £8 million. He is a beast, an absolute beast, and he could be set to wreak havoc across Huddersfield back line. I think he's going to get the goal for Palace, at least one in this game week coming up. And Bobby Firmino, 8.5. He's a front man. Klopp likes him. I think Liverpool fans like him. 11 goals, 11 assists last season. Could be really good. Potentially on pens as well if Milner isn't playing, so worth looking out for. And in general, 3 goals and 4 assists in pre-season leaves him looking at game week 1 and thinking, oh, I'll have this for my little treat. Maybe a goal or assist, or even more than that in this game week, and Liverpool could be set to have a flyer FPL wise. But let's look more in depth in some of those players, shall we? Starting off with Ryan Bertrand of Southampton. Now, he is probably my pick of the Southampton defenders, simply because, yes, he's a 0.5 above, but his attacking returns last season were phenomenal. And he was ever present last season, where Cedric sort of disappeared. We don't know what happened with him. He was there. Van Dijk obviously was there for around most of it. Fon left halfway through the season. Stevens made a good account of himself, 5 million potentially. He's just there because he's in the Southampton defensive line. Know he's going to start. Signed a new contract as well, so you know he's going nowhere this season. Also, Maya Yoshida came out as been rotation for so many years, and now first team starter with Van Dijk not in the team. Looks good anyway. But Bertrand, at 5.5, is selected by just 12.4% of people, which could be really good showing. And last season, he got 123 points for a tally. His next 5 games, looking at game week 1 to 5, Swansea, West Ham, Huddersfield, Watford and Crystal Palace. Now those are really appetising, and that is why I say to anyone, you've got to have at least 2 players in Southampton, at least for these start, because up to game week 11 they face one big team, just one. You look at the amount of 2s they have in their fixed difficulty racing on FPL, it is phenomenal. It is such a good sight to see. But looking at it, Bertrand could be a really good bet, and I think he should be on your team. He's nearly in mine. If I had enough money, extra 0.5, he would be in my team. Apart from that, I've got Cedric, but if I had the money, he'd definitely be in my team. On the defence as well, we've got Cesar Azpilicueta. Now, the Chelsea man is, it's very difficult to pick a Chelsea defender at the moment. A lot of people, and I think the most selected defender at the moment is David Luiz, because he's a £6 million man. He was in the Chelsea defence for a lot of last season, and for me, he could be an ever-present again this season. And he's a cheaper way into defence without the taking returns though. Cahill, good from corners and set plays as well. Azpilicueta, good at going forward from the centre-back role into midfield maybe. Getting those 1 goal and 5 assists from last season. You also got Alonso, 7 million, massive price, but massive potential returns as well. But Azpilicueta jumps out for me. £6.5 million. He's going to play on the wings, the right wing back, the first game week. And to be honest, with Rudiger signing, I could potentially see Rudiger replacing Azpilicueta's spot. Azpilicueta going out wide, because Moses is good going forward. We saw that in the Community Shield. Going back, I feel like he's still got a lot to work on. So Azpilicueta, maybe even swap positions, which could be really good for FPL. Scored 170 points last season from centre back. Now, if he goes out wide, how many points is he going to score there? The first 5, they are quite difficult to be bearing that in mind. Burnley, Tottenham, Everton, Leicester and Arsenal are in his top 5, his first 5 game weeks of the season. So he could be really, really difficult to pinpoint and also get a good start. But trust me, I think those games he could do really well. Goals or assists in any of the games, including a few clean sheets here or there. He's a really good pick for this season. Moving on to midfield, we then have Kevin De Bruyne, the Manchester City midfielder. Should be never present this season. Realistically, should be. But with a £10 million price tag, if he's not, raises big concerns. But I think he will be. He can play anywhere, wide, centrally, even further forward. And to be honest, I think Pep really likes him. 24.8% of people have selected him, which is quite high. But you know he's going to score points. And 199 points last season can only be set to improve on that. Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Liverpool and Watford are his first 5 game weeks, looking really good. All but Liverpool, and I think Liverpool and Everton are at home, Brighton, Bournemouth and Watford are away, so it could be 5 wins out of 5 going into game week 6. And De Bruyne, if they're going to get any goals, you most likely bank on him to get a goal or assist in any of those games. So for me, De Bruyne, £10 million is well worth the price. And then we have Henrik Mkhitaryan and Manchester United. Now, unsure how Man United are going to line up midfield wise. Might get a little bit of a glimpse to see who won't play, depending on who starts and plays 90 minutes in the UEFA Super Cup coming up. But he's at £8 million, selected by just 6.1% of people. Considering the 3 goals and 3 assists he's got this pre-season, it's quite strange that. But you also got to take into effect he scored 73 points last season. It's not too good for £8 million price tag. But his first 5 game weeks, looking at it and thinking, that could save him. West Ham at home, Swansea away, Leicester at home, Stoke away, Everton at home. 5 games where he predicts Man United to do really well. But obviously he might not start. You're looking at Rashford still going well. You're looking at Martial going well. Mata, for the time he was fit, going well. There's 4 wide players there that immediately give him a bit of a threat for his starting spot. But he started well. He's been the best player wide, and so should be given the time, even if he doesn't get the points returns in the first couple of game weeks. But for me though, he's set to have a good start to the season, and I think you should take a risk on him. Lastly, we have Gabriel Jesus of Manchester City in the attack. The £10.5 million man, for me, is one of my favourites, if not my favourite premium striker. I did a video on premium strikers. He's my favourite, and I say it now, he's my favourite premium striker. Selected by 12.8% of people. Last season got 67 points, which again isn't very good, but he played 10 games, 7 goals and 4 assists. That's incredible. His first 5 game weeks will be set into De Bruyne, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Liverpool and Watford. For me, he is going to be one of the ones to set the season alight in the first few game weeks, and for me, he could be getting on that golden boot as well. You've got to watch out for him. He can play out wide, he can play down the centre, and even then you've got to look at it, either where he plays, he's going to score goals. And he has scored goals previously in the Premier League, so here's a danger, and I'd watch out for him.